Ever scroll through Twitter or Facebook and see something that just makes you cringe? Oh, yeah. Definitely like a post or a comment.
Yeah, and you just know it's going to land someone in hot water.
Yeah.
Like legally.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's exactly what we're talking about today. Defamation.
Defamation law. It's actually way more relevant now than ever because everyone's online and things can spread so fast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's not just for like celebrities and politicians anymore.
Right. It could be anyone. You leave a nasty review online or get into it with someone on Twitter.
Even just gossiping in a Facebook group, all that
Yeah.
stuff falls under defamation law.
Okay, so let's start with like the basics. Libel and slander.
Hmm.
I feel like everyone's heard those terms, but what do they actually mean?
Yeah, so basically libel is when it's written down, like a mean blog post or even a fake news article.
Okay, so like that stuff that pops up on your newsfeed that's like totally made up.
Exactly. And then slander is when it's spoken, like
Mhm.
spreading rumors at work or during a speech.
Oh, so like if you're bad-mouthing your boss to a coworker. Yeah, that can be slander. And it's all about protecting your reputation.
Okay, so whether it's written or spoken, your rep is on the line.
Right. But to actually win a case, you need to prove a few things.
Like what?
So first off, the statement has to be false, obviously.
Okay, makes sense.
Then it has to be published or like communicated to a third party.
So like it can't just be between you and the person who said it.
Right. And it needs to identify you specifically, not just like a general group of people.
So you can't just say like all lawyers are bad.
Haha, right. It has to be about a specific person, and then it has to have actually hurt your reputation.
Okay, so just feeling bad isn't enough.
Well, it can be part of it, but you usually need to show some real damage, like you lost money or job opportunities.
Wow, so this is serious stuff.
Oh, yeah. And lastly, the person who said it has to be at fault.
Like they knew it was a lie or they just didn't care.
Exactly. They were reckless.
Yeah.
But, you know, the biggest defense against defamation is actually the truth.
Oh, wow. So even if it's like super embarrassing, if it's true, you're in the clear.
Pretty much, yeah. Truth is a really powerful defense.
That's good to know. Now, what about public figures, like celebrities and politicians?
They actually have it a little tougher. They have a higher burden of proof.
Why is that?
Well, because they're in the public eye, they kind of open themselves up to more scrutiny.
So they have to prove that the person knew it was false and they said it on purpose.
Right. It's called actual malice.
That's a pretty high bar.
It is. And it's because we want to protect free speech, especially when it comes to public figures.
Okay, that makes sense. So if you're facing a defamation case, what are your options?
Well, truth is always your best bet, but there are other defenses too, like opinion.
Oh, so you can just say whatever you want and claim it's your opinion.
Not exactly. It has to be a genuine opinion, not a statement of fact disguised as an opinion.
Okay, so you can't be like, in my opinion, this person is a criminal if you have no evidence.
Right. It's a tricky area. But there's also privilege, like in court proceedings or legislative debates.
So people can speak freely without worrying about being sued?
Yeah, it's important for those settings. And then there's consent, if someone agrees to let you publish something about them.
They can't really come back later and say it's defamation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And lastly, there's public interest. Like if you're exposing wrongdoing as a journalist.
Oh, wow. So even if some details are wrong, it might be okay if it's for the greater good.
Yeah, the courts might decide that the public benefit outweighs the harm.
Wow. There's so much to think about. Now, let's say you win your case. What happens then?
Well, you could get monetary damages, like to compensate you for your losses.
Okay, makes sense.
Or you could get an injunction to stop them from publishing it again.
Especially online.
Oh, yeah, because once it's out there, it's hard to get rid of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can even get a retraction or an apology.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not just about the money, it's about clearing your name, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about restoring your reputation.
Now, I know this might be a big question, but do these laws apply everywhere?
Actually, no. Defamation laws vary a lot from country to country.
Yep. Yeah. For example, the UK has much stricter libel laws than the US. So it's easier to win a case there.
Wow, so something you can say in one country could get you sued in another.
Absolutely. It's all about context and jurisdiction.
So it's really important to know the laws wherever you are.
Definitely. Especially with the internet. Things can spread globally so fast.
This has been so informative. I feel like I need to go back and reread all my old posts.
Haha. Well,
Yeah.
the main takeaway is just be mindful of what you say online. Think before you post.
Right, because words have power.
They do. And they can have real legal consequences.
So true. Now here's something for everyone listening to think about. In the age of social media where everyone's a publisher, Are laws really equipped to handle this?
That's a really good question.
Are we striking the right balance between protecting reputations and free speech? It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a complex issue, and there's no easy answer.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into defamation law. Thanks for joining me.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And for everyone listening, keep learning, keep asking questions, and stay safe out there.